Hey everybody, welcome back to Plum Figgy. This is Tammy. Okay, so I have a fun new project. This one's a personal one for me. I am really into planning these days. I don't know about you guys, but this is kind of like a secret. I don't know if it's a secret, but I don't really share it on this channel because this is a junk journaling channel and not everyone's interested in planners. But, you know, it's the time of year where we're all kind of trying to restart, plan ahead for next year, and kind of get ready. I just as a quick FYI, I discovered oh my goodness, I discovered Hobonichi, the brand, probably 2 years ago. Kind of went hog wild, bought all the Hobonichi things that I thought I wanted. Really love the weeks, and then that just opened the gateway to that whole world of kind of planning outside of the me and my big ideas or Happy Planner. I used to be big on Happy Planner, not anymore. And so anyway, I like these kinds of planners where they lay flat and my hand doesn't hit the ring or whatever it might be. So anyway, what I have for next year that I'm going to use as my main planners for my personal planning is a Passport Sterling Ink planner. It's a horizontal, as you can see. If you're interested in either of these planners, I'll leave a link to those websites below. I can't guarantee that they'll have everything in stock anymore. I know if you're really interested in Sterling Ink, I'm a part of their Facebook group. It's really active. There's always updates and everything there. So really amazing planners. This is using Tomoe, actually both of these, Tomoe River paper, which is awesome for fountain pens. Not even just fountain pens. But anyway, I'm using this one for a health tracker / money tracker. I'm just going to keep track of my money and my health in here. And so anyway, this is going to come with me all the time because I'm going to mark down, you know, all my spending that I do. Kind of like, you know, when we used to use checks, you would balance your checkbook, kind of like that, but a little fancier, and it'll be for more than just that. And then the other one that I have here is an Aurastell Annie Plans collaboration. This one actually is the 2023 version of the A6, and it was dated. I got this one used and I just redated it. That doesn't bother me. I just whited out all the numbers and rewrote them in my handwriting. And then same here, there was a little calendar on each of these weekly pages. And then obviously the number of the day of the week. I whited all of that out. And so I've actually been using this. I started this, let's see, I don't remember. Oh, I'll cover this obviously with a 2024. And then I'm going to do the, Hobonichi has the yearly daily tracker. So it's got columns for every month of the year and then every day, and then you can track, and I like to use that. But I use this already starting in December, and yeah, just kind of really like the style of this. Just very quickly talk about things that are happening in the week, and then you can, you know, journal or do whatever you want to do. So that's kind of how I'm using it. But I'm actually a little bit behind this week because, yeah, I've been on vacation. But anyway, long story short, this is an A6 size. This is a Passport size. A6 I've got plenty of planner covers for, but Passport, not so much. I want to keep this as minimal, both of these, actually. I want to keep these as minimal as possible. I really loved being able to just take these as they are. And neither one of them really needs a cover. The covers themselves are plenty sturdy, but what I'm worried about is I'm putting them in my purse like this, or sometimes like this, and you know, the purse, they'll allow them to open, and I just don't want the pages to get all messed up. Also, I really like having a place for a pen loop. where I can keep my pen. So I don't need a pen for both of these. I'll use the same pen for both. So I don't need a pen loop for both of them, but I'm going to build one in because I may or may not want to use the same pen for both of them all the time. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and try and make my own cover. I obviously have a lot of experience making covers for junk journals, so why not try and do one for a planner? It's not that much different, really, I don't think. And that way I can decide what I want my planner cover to look like, and if it doesn't work out, then it won't work out. You might not ever see this video. We don't know. So, alright, so what I've got here is some Tim Holtz fabric. I just absolutely love this fabric. And I thought this one would be a great one for the passport cover. So I'll use this as the outside fabric for the passport cover. And then I figured since I'm going to make these, maybe I'll make a second one and use this fabric for another passport cover maybe, or the A6. So I thought either way, I'd like to have one of each. That way they will stay slim and trim in my purse, but still be protected, and everything will be hunky-dory. So then I've got this. This is like an upholstery fabric. It's kind of a canvas fabric. So I thought I would use this for the inside. It's a really nice, it will wear really well, and it's nice and sturdy. And then also, this is the leftover from a paper pad that I just used up. And so I thought, well, if I needed a little bit of extra stability, probably not this cover because it's a little bit less sturdy than the back. This is cardboard. Maybe I'll use this to kind of sandwich in between. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to do a spine or not. I don't know that it needs one. But if I wanted to, I could do a little tiny spine for this, just to give it even that much more stability, separated, you know, just slightly. And then obviously I would have a piece for the front and the back. So enough talking. Let's get started. I'm going to preface this by saying I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. This is going to be a figure it out as you go type of a situation. So let's see how it goes. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and measure, and I'm going to keep this the exact same. Oh, I forgot I have the, I'm going to keep this the exact same dimension as the actual planner itself, because I don't really want the cover to be bigger than that planner is right now. Okay, you're probably going to yell at me for doing this, but the blade on this thing is already kind of shot anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it ruining my blade. I'm just going to cut that, and then we'll cut this, and we'll cut two of those. Whoops, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Okay. Oh, that's not straight at all. Let's try this another time. Okay, let's do this here. Oh my goodness. The problem is it's got, this is a slippery backside, so it's kind of slipping around. Okay. And yes, I did look through my fabric scraps, and obviously I wanted, if I could have used fabric scraps from, if I had some fabric scraps of that canvas gray colored material, I would have definitely used that first. I didn't happen to have any though at the moment. So, okay, so this, let's see how wide this spine is. I'm going to go ahead and just cut a piece just in case. Okay, let's do it this way. So there's 1 inch. Looks like it's just over 1/4 of an inch. So if I cut 1/4 of an inch, which would be, that's what I don't like about this particular, okay. I'm going to just use my ruler. I don't care for that ruler on the cutting board. It just doesn't ever make sense to me all the time. When you're trying to find 1/4 of an inch, it's a little difficult to me. I don't know why. I guess I struggle that way. I'm not big on measurements anyway, but when I do need to measure something, I want to make sure it's accurate. Okay, now, oops, let's cut it this way. It'll be a little easier. Okay, so now we have, this is extra if I need it, a little spine piece in case I need that. So, at this point, I think what I'll do is, let's start with this inner fabric first, and I'll just rip off a piece that I can use as my inside piece. Okay, this is all connected. I'm going to go ahead and just take off this entire piece here. Make it easier to work with, and then I'll just keep this for something else. I'm sure I will use it at some point. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I really miss Hancock Fabrics. I used to go there too often and go rifling through their $5 fabric bins, and my goodness, I found some good deals there. This is one of those, you know, yeah, it's upholstery fabric, but guess what? It works pretty darn well for junk journals and whatnot. So, okay, there we go. So, I know this is kind of not really, you can't really see everything there. That'll help you, give you some boundaries. Okay, so let's just lay this out. I'm going to do a rough edge on my planner cover. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and cut it so that there's plenty of extra, a little bit extra space than I probably normally would. And I'm just going to lay this out and roughly guesstimate the size that I'll need, and then just snip. So let's go, I don't know, about there, and very carefully turn this around so I can cut it. Also, I'm sorry, I'm dealing with some allergies right now. And I feel like I'm just breathing loudly. So I apologize about that if I am. Okay, there we go. Ooh, I don't know how well this is going to rip. Okay, perfect. So there is our inside piece. I know I need, or I don't need, but I want pockets. I heavily use pockets in my planner covers. This is dirty. It's just got lint and everything all on it, but it's not like dirty like I need to wash it or anything. But okay, so I know I want to make you know, I might as well just rip that the whole way over, make it easier on myself. Alright, and then we'll save this for something else. Maybe our A6 cover or our second passport cover, depending on how this goes. Okay, and then I'm going to actually get rid of this also. This is the end piece. I'll save this for my fabric scraps, because this will make a really great ruffle on the side of a journal page or something, but I don't really want to use this in my journal or my planner cover today. So, okay. I am going to spray this just with a bit of water, get rid of some of these wrinkles if I can, which will help me. do the same thing. Okay, now I need to remember that this is the original. Actually, this one's not too bad. I just lightly spritz that and then flatten it out. I don't like to iron. So this is my alternative to ironing. Okay, so back to where we were. So this is my inside piece. I know I'm gonna want to be able to slip this back cover in so that it will sit in the planner cover like this. Potentially I'm going to add another same size pocket on the front so I could tuck the front cover in as well. But this is so pretty. I don't really want to cover that up. So I'm going to probably, I'll decide what I want to do. But I think what I should probably do is fold this in half and make a finger line with my fingers, make a crease so that I know where the middle is. We can open that back up. Okay, I'm going to mark the middle on this line here, which is 15 inches. You can't see that, but I can see it. So I don't think we need it to be quite that wide. But this wide anyway. So, okay. I know that the height is correct, so I'll go ahead and trim this right here. Like so. I've watched a few videos on YouTube on how other people have constructed planner covers. Not always fabric ones. Some are using leather. I'm just getting an idea for how to construct this, and then just using my knowledge on you know, past experience to kind of fill in the blanks, I guess. So if you are curious about how to do this also, please take this and learn from it as you may, or as you will. Okay, I'm going to create the same thing for the front cover. So I'll go ahead and maybe this one can be a little bit wider. It's okay. Cut again. Like that. And then, well, let me pull this back over. Okay, so we've got our back pocket here, and I'll fix this so it's more aligned better for real when I sew. We've got our other front pocket here. Actually, I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to put this in the back because this one's just a little bit wider. And that'll make things a bit sturdier. And then I'll put this on the front. And flip that around because I like that better. That edge, I liked that edge better. It looked a little nicer. Okay, and then I would like maybe another pocket here. I really don't need tons of pockets on this, but it would be nice to have another pocket here. So I'll go ahead and create another, or add another piece, and I could actually do that in the back too. I just don't really want to bulk this up too much, but you know, one thing I need to make sure of is that I'm keeping all of the warping and wefting the same direction. Okay, here, let's turn that around, and we'll first get the width. Okay, that's one thing I love about fabric. when you rip it like that, it rips in a straight line every single time. It's kind of amazing. Alright, and then I could do 2 pockets, I suppose. Although I don't know that I would use 2 pockets, but... Okay, so let's say we want this one to go up to, I don't know, about there. How about there? That'll hold some ephemera for me. Okay, do I want a second one? I don't know. I don't think I do. I think that's plenty. Okay, maybe I'll add another one on the back. I've got this piece, it's perfectly sized, sorta. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. I can go ahead and, yeah, go ahead and add this pocket here, although I will need to stabilize this with something. Sturdy it up if I do. It's a little bigger than I wanted. It's a little smaller than I wanted. Well, let's see. I'm going to make this just a little taller. And then, you know, I could just do that if I wanted to. What if I overlapped it slightly? It's bulking it up now, but that looks kind of cool. Okay, so I kind of do like that. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to sew a zigzag stitch. No, I'll just sew a straight stitch across those 2 tops separately. So I'll just do this piece, sew across the top separately. So that's the bottom. That's the top, and then I'll do the same thing for these pieces. So I'll sew a straight line there and another one there, and then I'll reconstruct it all and then sew it all together around the whole perimeter. Well, first I'll need to sew these pockets on. I'll come back to that, but what I'm going to do right now is just sew across the top of there, and then these 2, and then down these 2. So I'll be right back after that's done. Okay, so as you can see, I just did a single stitch. I went up and back on each of them, and you know, it's a junk journal. Part of me, I can't have everything be perfectly perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and construct this here. Now, first what I want to do is, oh yeah, I like how that looks. So I'm going to take just this piece, these 3 pieces. I need to get my needles, which are here. Might have almost had an avalanche. And I'm just gonna make sure that this is all straight and how I want it to be. That was not quite straight. Okay, just like that. And I'm gonna just pin these together. That's another thing I love about this canvas material. It just kind of sticks to itself. So it's really helpful when you're doing stuff like this, where it's helping me out. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to straight stitch down, across, and up one time. I'm not going to do it twice because once that's done, I'm going to put this back on here. Actually, no. I'm going to straight stitch up and down twice here, and then just once there. And then when we come back from that, I'm going to reassemble this because this will be all together then. And then I'll do a whole perimeter stitch twice so that it'll match what I've already done here with the double stitching. So, okay, just going to do this one first and then I'll be right back. Okay, so here is our piece. Don't need those in there anymore because it's all stitched together. As you can see, it's all just around the perimeter, nothing on the inside. This is all what I did before. Yeah, it's not perfectly straight, but I don't really care about that. So, all right, so I'm just going to match this back up as well as I can. Place it back down, and then I'm going to go ahead and pin it in place to that back piece. Just like that. We'll do another one down here. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And same thing to this side. This one I haven't really even messed around with, but it is, whoops, I don't like that pin. I need to get better pins. These pins are not my favorite. Okay, this was kind of lifting up on me. I want to just double check that this is aligned the way that I want it to be aligned. And I don't like that right there. There we go. That's better. Okay. Yes, it's after Christmas and I still have my Christmas nails. Poor Santa. His little hat has rubbed off by now. And poor reindeer only had a little bit of antlers the whole time. I like to keep my nails short, so. But yes, it's that weird week in between Christmas and New Year's where I always take this time off from work and I love it. But it's kind of like, what day is it? I don't know. We'll figure that out. It's fine. No big deal. So yeah, these are still my Christmas. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a stitch all the way around the perimeter only, and I'm only going to do one stitch. Actually, I'll do two here. No? Will I? No, just one stitch because I only did one there. This we won't stitch because we've already done that. So all we need to do is all the way around the perimeter, and I'll do that and I'll come right back. Okay, I just had a thought that I did not consider earlier. I need to make sure this is going to fit in there the way that I want it to fit. So I might need to mark my sewing lines just a tiny bit closer. Because yeah, that is an important thing that I don't necessarily think about with my junk journaling. But I definitely want to think about it for making a planner cover, right? So, okay, let me just lay this here. All right, so, okay, that's kind of where I was planning to sew anyway, but I need to make sure I don't, and I just kind of eyeballed that, and I just need to make sure I don't go as further in than like 1/4 of an inch, basically. So, okay, I'm glad I stopped myself because I would have been mad if I had done all this work and then made it too small. So, okay, for real, I'm gonna sew around the perimeter this time. Okay, so there we go. We've got our perimeter sewn. I'm going to take all these out first. I'm going to just double check and make sure it still fits and everything is good to go that way. I may decide to go in just a tiny bit more on the top and bottom. I might add another stitch. We'll see. I'm just going to throw this in, make sure it'll fit this way too. Okay, and it does. And it's fairly snug, but not too terribly snug. Could go a little bit, I got a little bit extra here, but actually that's okay. I don't mind that so much. Or do I? I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter anymore at this point. I suppose I could, I don't know, somehow make it, yeah, it's just like 1/4 of an inch wider than I wish it was. The height of it doesn't bother me too much, but it is a little bit higher, taller too than I kind of wished. I can fix the height easily enough. I could just cut off basically from here the height and then re-sew that. That would be easy. I'm trying to think about how I could possibly fix this, and I could the width. Yeah, I think I might actually do that. I like how this is fitting this way, and I kind of wish it was a bit smaller and a bit shorter. So we're talking, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch from the middle also. Okay, let me go ahead and I'm just going to keep this in here. I'm going to get my big scissors out, and I don't want to cut off too much, but let's just say about there. And I'm going to cut as straight as I can. And if I have to redo it, I guess I will redo it. I'm not good at cutting straight, you guys. That is my Achilles heel, is cutting straight. For some reason, I just can't seem to do it very well. Okay. Okay. So that's about 1/4 of it. Well, it's not too bad. Got a little wonky there at the end, but it's not too bad. Let me make sure it still fits before I sew it again. Okay. So it will. I just need to be very, very tight to the top there. And then I will, what do I want to do? What I'm thinking is I could cut out what I could do is cut out, I don't know, cut it, let me measure, let me do this and measure. Okay, so that's on a straight line. We're basically 1/2 inch too big. So what I'm thinking is I could cut this down this way and then another strip here and then patch it back together, and that could be my spine piece. So, okay, I shouldn't have done that. Let me put this back in there. And I guess mark this with a pencil. Hopefully I can see it. But and then I'm going to be a little conservative and just do that. Okay. See, I told you we weren't sure what was going to happen necessarily. Let me rip this. Hopefully Whew, that was difficult. Okay, so there's that side. And then I'll rip this. And I need to make sure and keep this piece intact that I rip out of the middle. This is called make it up as you go sewing. Guys, I have no idea if this is gonna work. All right, I'm gonna trim off these little bits and pieces here because I don't want them getting in the way. Okay. I might incorporate a little bit of Fabri-Tac to help me glue it all back together, but basically I'm going to put them back together like so, and then here's this piece. This actually might be a cool little feature in the whole thing. A happy little accident. Okay, it is a bit wonky, but that's all right. And there's my sewing line, so I'm gonna match that back up down here as best as I can. Okay. It's all kinds of crooked now, but all right. And for those of you like actual people who know how to sew, I apologize. Totally winging it here, guys. You're probably screaming at me, and I'm sorry. Okay, so let's get a little bit of glue here, and I'm just gonna. This is my Fabri-Tac, and it's very old, so it's a bit globby. Just pull the whole thing off here. It's probably gonna come streaming out. Basically, I just want it to be sticky enough to hold together while I sew. Okay, and then make sure we don't move anything. This is a very important step that I did not think through well enough. I'm pretty picky about my planner covers fitting correctly. I don't really like planner covers that are too big. Obviously, if it's too small, it's not going to work. So this was an important little lesson for me, and I think this should work out okay. But definitely, if I make these again in the future, I will remember this better. So, okay, let's just throw her back in there real quick. I know I need to sew it, but stick it back in there, and then let's bring this around. Yeah, that's a lot better. This one I might not be able to, and that'll be okay because I'll be covering this obviously with the inside. So I don't know that we need, and well, I guess I could maybe still use this. Actually, I don't think I want to use the spine. But we'll be putting these on the cover as soon as I'm done. I'll glue those on as soon as I'm done sewing. I think I want to put those on. Again, I'm not 100% sure because the floppiness of this is kind of nice too. But okay, so I'm just kind of coaxing this a little bit. It might need to be a tiny bit wider than it is now, but I'm kind of liking it at the same time. I love how rustic it is. I love the frayed edges. But yeah, I need to be very careful about sewing this top and not going down too far. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew this again and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, here we have it. It's not super pretty, but it's definitely functional. I'm not gonna worry about that because when I sew the cover on, it'll all work out just fine. And I don't really want to have too many sewing lines if I can help it. Okay, this fits perfectly snugly, which is amazing. This comes around. Let's just double check that we can get the front cover in just in case I want to. Okay, it's a bit snug for me. I may not be able to do both the front and back covers, but also I might just need to adjust it just a little bit. It's not overly perfect, and I'm not quite sure if it's just too small or what the deal is, but you know what, even this is kind of cool. I kind of really love this. It's so soft. I don't know if I want to put, I kind of really like how it's still bendy. Yeah, I think this will work great. I am still going to put the cover on it because I want to hide this. Oh yeah, I see. So having the back all the way over to the right, it wasn't completely, it's not completely square. But my sewing lines are. So I don't know, I guess it worked out. So at least I know that I can put both the front and back covers in there. I've got my nice little pockets. I could tuck things back in here if I wanted to. I guess I could still add another pocket back here, but I don't know that I really want to do that. I mean, it's too late at this point because I don't want to do that. So, okay. So, next step, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out carefully. Alrighty, and then next step, I want to measure and figure out what piece of fabric I want for my front cover. So just put this off to the side and let's take a look at this. Oh, it's so pretty. Let's turn it right side up. It's so pretty. I love it so much. Okay, so if we, okay, I gotta think kind of in reverse. I really love this part of it right here, but at the same time, it will kill me if I waste some of this. So come over here and let's take a look. Up here in this corner, I think maybe this might be the best bet because I actually really love this too, but maybe for the back, but I really love that for the cover. So let's, oh, and I'm not going to get much of that. I'm just going to get a very small little sliver. Let's just do, I don't know, maybe that much. And then I'll still get some of this on the back cover. Okay, so I'm gonna snip this just a touch bigger than the inside cover because I obviously want it to cover the inside cover. All right, and then, okay, first I'm going to, well, I do really like where this is. I'm gonna cut this a little bit further and then cut this there. Okay, it's a little buggered up, but I think I will know what I need to do. Okay, so let me just rip this down and this over. I like to be neat and tidy. Keeps things neat and tidy for the next time. I don't like to have a bunch of wrinkly things. So I know it's probably like, why do you have to be like that? Okay, first I need to rip this off because we're not going to use this right for the moment. And then this is the actual width or height. We got another scrap there. And this will now be our, oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. I love it. I got some of this. I got that pretty color. I got some of the yellow. I got some of the book page. All right, I'm going to spray this just a bit to, let's get rid of some of these wrinkles. And then I need to not forget that I want to add a pen loop somehow. And I still am not sure how I want to do the closure. So there's also that. Okay, so here's my inside cover. I'm just gonna flip that around and put this on there like that. And try and line this up as best I can so that this sits in there as well as I can get it. Don't really, okay, I need to pull it down just a little bit. And to the right just a little bit. Okay, there we go. So, okay, now at this point I do need to figure out a cover, but I do want to pin this down, so I'm very, here, I'm going to tack it so it doesn't move on me. Okay, and then just carefully pin this. Okay, so there we have it for right now. Okay, I gotta think about, let me just stick this in there for a little bit of stability. I gotta think about where my pen loop will go and what kind of a clasp or closure I want on this thing. And do I want to do any decoration on here? Because now that I'm looking at this, it's awfully kind of plain Jane. It's kind of asking for something. And then I'll keep in mind I still have bits and pieces here that I can work with for maybe a closure or some sort of situation like that. So yeah. I really don't know what I want to do. Okay, I need to think for a minute. I will come right back after I have a little think. Ooh, this might be kind of cool. See? We might be able to use this as like a label or something. We could maybe even put it horizontal or vertical. I don't know, that's a little weird. But yeah, maybe a little smaller. Okay, I need to have a think on what I want to do next, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I brought you in a little tighter. I had to look for this. I didn't know if I still had this or not. But this is just some, I don't know, 1/2 inch wide elastic. It's been around a while, so that side was not the best. So I'll go ahead and use this for my pen loop. I want to put it kind of, I don't know, right there. I want to make sure it's snug for a pen, but also I have one of those Uniball 1 pens and obviously fountain pens that are a little bit wider, so I want to make sure it'll fit actually. And yeah, I think this will be about perfect. So I'll go ahead and throw a pin in that. No pun intended. Ouch! And oops, okay. 3rd time's a charm. Try not to stick myself. So that I know where I need the I'll go ahead and trim that off there. I need to clean these scissors, they are so dirty. Okay, and then we'll just stick that in like so. Maybe a little bit lower, about there. Okay, so originally I was trying to avoid, here, let me do this before I keep talking because I know I will mess it up if I try and talk while I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm gonna sew this real quick first. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sew. Okay, but what I was just about to say was, I originally was gonna try and do a closure that was not the standard Traveler's Notebook style, where it comes out the back and then it's an elastic cord and then wraps around. Honestly, not my favorite type of closure. I prefer closures that are more, the kind where, you know, I don't know, let's say this is going to be my closure, where, you know, it would stick in the back and then you would hook it onto something here. Actually, I do kind of prefer that. But I don't know. For this one, I think I'm going to go the easier route and do the Traveler's Notebook style closure. Because at the moment, I cannot think for the life of me how I would do this other than a hitch and post. And this material is just not thick enough to support that, basically, is what I'm getting at. So yeah. I just had another idea. How cool would it be if you took and made one of these from an old book cover? How cool would that be? That might be in my future. I don't know. Okay, so as far as putting something here, I'm not going to sew it directly onto that. If I do decide to do something with this, I'll probably make it smaller and make it look like I sewed it on, but actually glue it on, because sometimes when you're dealing with tight dimensions, my experience is if you then go ahead and add something like this and then sew it onto just this outer fabric, it can sometimes shrink that fabric just a little bit. So what you originally had was perfect. Now it's just slightly smaller and not quite as perfect anymore. So I'm going to try and avoid that and do that decoration later. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is tack this in very carefully and then flip it around and sew around the outside edges of everything. Actually, I'm not going to flip it around. I'm going to sew it like this. So I'm going to re-pin this so that all the pins are facing this direction. And then, yeah. I'm sorry for my rambling. I told you, we're figuring this out as we go. Okay, I'm going to do all that and I'll be back when it's all done. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is find a piece of scratch fabric here and then put that behind my label. Something that will match. You know, we have that piece of gray fabric. I still could use that. I do think it is slightly big, so we could knock that down just a little bit. And that would give us something to adhere it to anyway. Yeah, I kind of like that. I also like the idea of using some tea-dyed paper. But what I was thinking was, and I just put away all my scraps, darn it. I just put away all my scrap paper. Well, I guess we'll just use this. I want to put a label in there. I want to actually use it as a label. And then I'm thinking this could be something I could just paste over the label year after year. Year after year. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to pull this, oops, that shouldn't be here. I'm going to pull this out of the way and glue this down onto here with some of my Fabri-Tac glue that hopefully will cooperate with me and not make a humongous mess. You can see that I'm going to have a trouble with it. Okay, that's good for right now. Smooth this just a bit because it will definitely seep out on the edges, and I want to kind of minimize as much of that as I can, even though I know it's going to happen anyway. Okay. All right, so there's that. I'll let that dry for just a second. Not mess around with it too much. Even though I don't love the fraying here, but what are you gonna do? It is what it is, right? Okay, we got a little bit of seepage there. Okay, so there's that. Now, so here's this. This is very unorthodox. I don't think I've ever done this like this before. I'll be completely honest. But so now let's take some more of that Fabri-Tac And I'm obviously not going to sew this now at this point. So I'm just going to put some Fabri-Tac on the back. Thankfully, this is nice, thick fabric, and it shouldn't show on the front. But if you're doing this on thin fabric, don't do what I just did, because it will definitely show through to the front. Fabri-Tac does show through, so FYI. But I'm going to be covering most of this with some kind of paper anyway. All right, so let's just stick that there. And that should be good. It's not going to go anywhere now at this point. I'm already loving this. And it's still very malleable, so I'm not going to mess around with it too much anymore. Okay, so let me, here you go, a little closer up. I'm going to measure. I should have probably done that before I did all that, but you know, we're making it up as we go today. So we've got 1.5 inches wide by about a 1/2 inch tall. So I'm going to cut. I never cut. I'm gonna rip off some of this paper here. Let me just take off the very edge. I don't like having a clean edge. There we go. Okay. So we need, what did I say? 1.5 inches? It's a 1/2 inch tall by, what am I doing? Okay. 1/2 inch tall. I'm going to use my actual grid here on my cutting surface. And we'll do 1/2 inch tall. I feel like that's not tall enough. I feel like that's a little skinny. Yeah, it's a little skinny. Let's do 3/4. Or just over 1/2 inch, maybe. How about, okay, so there's 1/2 inch. Let's do about there. Just trying to get it as straight as I can. There we go. Perfect. And then, yeah, that'll sit in there really well. And then maybe I just bend this. Maybe I just fold that, and then we know exactly where to trim it. There. Okay, so here we have a little label. What do I want to put in my label, guys? I'll just do 2024 and call it good. Actually, do I want to stamp that maybe? I have a date stamp here. It's too small. Okay. I like the idea of stamping it though. This is going to take forever if I do it that way. I'm just going to write it in there. If I hate it, I can cover it up with something else. So, 2024. Not too bad. Actually, since I had that out, I'm going to go around the edge of this. Just crunch it up a little bit more. Like so. Oops. There you go. You can kind of see it. And then let's go ahead and glue that in. I had tweezers. There they are. And I'm just going to go ahead and use some art glitter glue. I think this will be perfectly fine. If it falls out, I will make a new one. Should be plenty. Just get that down in there. Don't think it's going anywhere. It's actually slightly too big, but I don't really mind that too much even. So, all right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to call this one done. And I'll make another one another day. But here is the end product. I'm pretty excited about it. I have a few planner stickers. Not that I'm really going to use stickers in this particular planner all that much. These came to me wet. They were all wet. But I got a couple different sizes here. So we can see how these pockets go. They're still usable, but I kind of wish they didn't come to me the way that they did. So I could, you know, put some of these taller ones in this pocket here. Maybe not quite that many, but you get the idea. We've got a lot of people now. And I could put some of these smaller puppy dog ones in the top pocket. He looks very surprised. Let's put him behind. Oh, this one's a happier one. Okay, so we got some other nice little stickers in there. I could always tuck things in here if I wanted to, or back behind here. And it's still very, very usable. Put my pen back in there. Again, I'm not going to use this pen for this planner, but you get the idea. And then if I decide I want to add some fuzz here. If I decide I want to add a closure, I will poke a hole in here with my Crop-A-Dile, put a grommet in there, and then I'll just use this elastic to wrap around the whole thing. But there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this with me, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.